Hey everyone, I'm Josh Nagle from See George Go. Welcome to Alchemix, Episode 2.
Hey everyone, this is Carl from Seven Hills Brewery, and today we got a great show for Alchemix Episode 2. We're going to talk with Josh about what See George Go is all about, and we're going to try one of our cocktails off our new menu here.
Man, I'm excited for this.
Let's go for it.
Man, what is that?
That is Mr. T. Is our we didn't make the whiskey. It's Discourse whiskey, and then a tea concentrate that I make, and some mint, and that's it. So pretty simple but refreshing.
It's really good.
At 100 degrees outside, you know, you'd be pretty baller. So yeah, I've had this drink in my back pocket for a couple years now. I really like it. I think it's super refreshing, and it's not too bourbon-y. Doesn't taste like whiskey.
Yeah,
I guess
it's got a little bit of a sweet tea vibe to it, which is nice, man. It really cuts the whiskey down. So even, I don't know, if I wasn't a huge whiskey drinker, this is still a drink I'd go for.
Right.
You can definitely taste on the back half of the drink.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Exactly. And that's what I try to go for, because we don't all love whiskey, right? But for we should. But people who do like whiskey, I want to have that flavor profile in there. Yeah. It's not like vodka. I don't want to hide the vodka, right? Yeah. I don't want to hide the whiskey. So, and I think the mint just kind of brings it all subtly together. So
definitely a little herby vibe in there.
Right. Exactly. Cool. So you have some things going on in your life.
I hope.
Right? So you are a local business owner.
Yes.
And what business do you own?
Well, I have a chiropractic business first and foremost, is Spine and Sport Chiropractic, and then I recently launched. I don't even know how to frame it. I've been calling it an educational experience, because after school program sounds really lame, and that doesn't make me want to sign up.
Sounds like a show you'd go watch, right? After school.
Yeah, but it's something that's very different. I've searched high and low for something that brings the education experience that I wanted when I was in high school.
Sure.
Especially as a 15, 16-year-old kid, I think I had those same thoughts that everybody does, this sucks, why am I here? And so I always wanted something to tie it all together. And, I thought I had some pretty cool ideas. They were probably trash, actually, but I still thought them, and to have some experience to figure out were they any good, or to actually give them a shot.
Okay.
You just don't generally have the money to do that, or the guidance to do that when you're 15, 16, up to 18 years old. But
I agree with that.
I realized pretty early on that I was not fit for a job where I had a boss.
Well, that's why you own your own business, right? You got a chiropractor, you're your boss, right?
Yeah. I still have to follow some rules. Actually, Dan Johnson is our CEO, so he gets to make the rules.
Gotcha.
And, I have an easier time following along with him.
Sure.
But yeah.
What is See George Go? I mean, I know you guys just did this huge thing that was pretty amazing. I saw online, but for people that don't know.
Yeah, so it's an after-school experience, and basically I take a group of 20 to 30 kids. This is the first launch. We just launched in January, so we had 7 kids. But I give them $5,000 and a goal of creating something that's good for their community on campus or the community as a whole.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I think of it kind of like angel investing in high schoolers.
Sure,
right?
Exactly, right.
Now,
you're investing in their future, not possibly getting paid back through royalties or whatever.
Yeah, and it's really great investing in their future. I think there's a kind of cliche saying where people are like, well, this next generation is the generation that's going to lead us. And I think that there's actually something to that, because whether we want them to or not, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to be hopefully functioning adults in society.
I mean, look at us, right?
Yeah.
Somewhat functional.
And so I don't have any kids of my own, but I just thought that if we're going to change leadership, if we're going to change things the way that they're done in the world, that we actually have to get to that root and start with that true next set of leaders.
Yeah.
And so while we're there, it's not just all fun and games. They're learning real things about personal growth. They're learning about how to start a business. Actually, Keith just came in from Seven Hills and talked to them about entrepreneurship and job changes and the value of community, which is another thing that we really touch on, because each month the students select a different change maker, as we call them, or a nonprofit or a group that's doing something cool to help support our community. So not only are we trying to build something from a business aspect, saying like, hey, if you're building a business, be good for your community, but then also celebrating others who are doing cool things as well.
So what was I saw that you guys, they got a vote on what they wanted to do as a project, right? What were some of those ideas that they got a vote on? What was the project that they ended up going with?
Man, that's good. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
So they had 3 options this first round. They had a community garden, which hopefully will still happen at some point, actually right outside the event center where we are now.
Okay.
A bike and skate repair center.
Yep.
Or a recording studio.
Okay.
Now, they chose to build a recording studio, and we had a cool opportunity to...
I like that decision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, here we are. They also had a cool opportunity. We had one of my friends, Sammy Brew, him and then his bass player as well from their band, come out and spend 3 days with the kids learning how to record and making music together. Wow. Actually, yeah. It's really fun because Jake, the bass player, is 22. Sammy, when he was here, was 17.
Right.
And just turned 18. And so it was
I watched him play. He was pretty good. I worked that night really well.
Yeah, and it was that true essence of like everybody walked away and learned something. Sure. I'm learning right alongside the students. This is the See George Go project is my own personal See George Go project, kind of a little inception dream moment.
Now, when they chose the recording studio, what was the process after that? Right? Were they there making decisions of, okay, this is the equipment that we need to buy, this is how the software is going to work, or did you tell them and guide them? How did that all work out?
I like to think a lot of it as kind of like a sport, or like a drama type thing, where I'm more of a coach or a facilitator, and I try to present them with the right questions at the right time, right? But really, they make all the decisions. Right. So, if they get stuck, I might be like, well, hey, what could we search for online to figure out more about mixers? Okay. Or do we know anybody where, being the adult, you have a few more connections?
Sure.
Time is a huge advantage. And so I'll reach out to friends and say like, hey, would you mind coming in and like sharing some of your knowledge or expertise? Right. So somebody like Sam and Jake, they came in and Jake knew the back end of everything on how to set everything up. Right. And so they got to ask them a lot of questions, but really it's all student decisions. They do the prep work, they do the finance, they do the research. They had to pitch the idea to their principal to make sure that it was okay. Right. And they do literally everything that goes into setting up a business, just like you would outside of a classroom setting. Right.
So awesome. So then, so they did all that. They set everything up. What was the final product? I mean, obviously you created a music studio, right? But I'm assuming you did something with it, right? You just didn't set it up like, well, that's done.
Yeah.
Did you guys make an album or a song or two or something? Or
it's always in process. That's something that I think is really cool about the program is I'm not tied to building recording studios. Like See George Go is not a recording studio company or a recording project company. Eventually, I hope that it's a national or worldwide product where students are submitting like, hey, I came up with this idea that will fix this problem. And that's our mission statement is design a fix. Right. And so that they'll just email me and be like, hey, I think we can do this for $5,000. Would you fund it? And then we find a teacher and hire them so that they get paid to facilitate the course as well. So hopefully in the future, it's a bunch of things and each one of them is generational, as I would say. So this is a living project. So we'll go from the idea conception building phase this time. Right. But, they find out pretty quickly that $5,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it's not all that much money. And so they leave notes for the next group, because then in the fall we'll run another kind of an innovation course for another group of students who will take over the recording studio. So
they're leaving like the next kids who want to work at the recording studio, like, here's how the mixer works, here's this works, and
here's what we were able to do,
right.
Here's what we wanted to do,
sure.
And here's maybe some direction for you to jump off to in the next version.
Sure.
And so
perfect.
In the fall, when I get back to senior, they'll get another $5,000 and a new group of students, and they get to build onto it.
Now they're going to keep building onto the recording studio.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like one project, and it's just going to be a bigger project throughout. It's just going to keep expanding it, making it into a bigger business.
Just like a real business, right? $5,000 just each time reinvest. Now, if we have enough members, then we'll branch off and do another one, right?
Like vote for 3 other things. Here's 3 other things. Let's vote for another thing.
You got it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So where can people learn more about See George Go?
Head over to the website. It's seegeorgego.com. It's www.seegeorgego.com.
We'll find it right here. I'll make Walt put it in somewhere right here.
The magic of Walt.
But awesome. And then Facebook, obviously, right?
Yep, we're See George Go on Facebook as well.
Awesome. And then we're not gonna do it here, but they can find out why it's called See George Go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's, like, I didn't really realize what it was, but when you said it, I'm like, man, I feel kind of like an idiot for not realizing that's what it meant for it to be.
No, man. There is a thought and nuance to literally every piece of the company.
That's cool.
So
why'd you pick senior high school?
Hopefully I'll be at all 3 high schools at some point, but that was the first opportunity. I went to Hempstead, but my favorite teacher at Hempstead, Steph Monahan, she was my first anatomy and physiology teacher, actually reached out to me and was like, what is this? I need to be a part of it. And I was like, that's who I want to work with. And then senior green-lighted it right away. Dr. Johnson over there, dude's aces.
Yeah. Well, my son, he starts freshman class next year, and he's all into music. This kid has a very wide range of music taste. I mean, David Bowie, Metallica, Nirvana, Queen. I mean, so this might be right up his alley.
That's what's up. I'm getting that. You can also sign up your student.
Yeah, I was gonna say how to sign up
is at seegeorgego.com/apply, and we did something kind of cool with the application process.
Yeah,
is humble brag. I was a really good student. But I certainly don't think I was the smartest student.
Right.
And so the application process, instead of just being for kids with 3 or 4.0 grade point averages, is just 10 open-ended questions.
Sure.
I just want to get to know you a little bit, you know, and the people with the most creative and cool answers,
you got to be part of it.
That's who will be in it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're book smart, sometimes you're street smart, sometimes you're just creative.
Absolutely.
But awesome. Well, hey, man, thanks for coming out, being part of this. Cheers. All right, guys. Till the next episode.